let's get started in. This is the ACVS Morning News for Another Choice Virtual Charter School. This is week 8, and it is Tuesday, October 17th, 2017. And let's pledge allegiance to the flag. If you'd like to join us, please stand, face the flag either in your room or on the computer. Put your right hand over your heart and ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, this is today, and yeah, we have an Internet Safety Night, 7 p.m. tonight, Nampa Civic Center. We'll talk more about this in a minute. Just be aware, 7 o'clock tonight at the Nampa Civic Center. This is important for your parents, so remind them. Also, if you're in Title I, your parents, and I bet you too, have a meeting today at 1 o'clock at Wahoo's. Then 7th and 8th grade only. Sorry, none of you guys are invited. This is only for 7th and 8th graders. There will be a Minute to Win It pizza night and tie-dye t-shirt night on Thursday. We'll talk more about that in a minute. And the big thing is the end of the first quarter is going to be this, let me see here, get my pointer again. The end of the first quarter is going to be this Friday. And so you'll probably have until midnight that night to get all your work in. We'll talk about the health science experience in a minute. Parent-teacher conferences are coming up only a week and a couple days from today. And there will also be, kindergarten through 6th grade field trip to Farmstead. So you guys will be invited to that. And don't forget also that will be anti-bullying week next week. Lots of activities planned for that. On the 31st, Halloween, we'll be having a party out in the parking lot from 1:30 to 2:30, so hopefully we won't have rain at that time. Set your clocks back on the 4th of November before you go to bed. Set your clocks back an hour. That's my favorite day of the year. One more hour of sleep. Cool. And then kindergarten through 6th grade meeting will be on the 10th. That was your first field trip. Here you guys have already had at least one, maybe two. Is that right, Josiah? Cool. And then student council will be from 10:30 to 12:30 on the 13th. Here's the big news. Thanksgiving break begins on the 18th of November this year. This is the first time in the entire history of Another Choice Virtual Charter School that we will have more than 2 or 3 days off for Thanksgiving. So we'll have an entire week that week. It will start on the 18th and ends on the 27th. As a matter of fact, the labs will be closed on the 17th, so if you're finished all your work, then you'll have an extra day even then, too. So, yeah, amazing. Thanksgiving coming so fast, isn't it? All right, tonight at the Nampa Civic Center, we will have a guest speaker, Mark Dalton, from the Attorney General Internet Crimes Against Children Unit, and we will be talking about cyberbullying, social networking, cell phones, and sexting, and safety strategies. Parents and guardians are invited, but students in 7th through 12, your parents need to make that decision whether they want you to come. All right, Harvest Middle School Harvest Party and this is only for 7th and 8th graders. So, you guys might be feeling bad, but they don't ever get to go on your field trips. They don't ever get to go on the proms for the high schoolers. So actually, this is one of their few parties for the year. So If you're in 7th or 8th grade, you need to take advantage of this. You'll only have 4 of them this year. All right, so this is this Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. tonight at night in the parking lot. You'll be tie-dyeing shirts and playing games and eating free pizza, 100% free. Middle schoolers only. Middle schoolers will be the only ones to have those specialized tie-dyed shirts. And then Health Experience Night, that is being put on by ISU, Idaho State University. Please call 208-373-1798 if you'd like to know more about it. And that will be the ISU phone number. And it's for kids 16 and above. Tuesday clubs, that's today. 10 to 11, we have kindergarten through 6th grade with Mrs. Hodges. 11 to 12, we have the Pen Pal Palooza with Mrs. Churchwell. 1 to 2, we have Disney Film Study with Mr. Gibson. 2 to 3, we have the 7th through 12th grade Coloring Club with Mrs. Sanders. 2 to 3, also Game Board Design Club with Mr. Hunter. And 3 to 4 is the Epic Trading Cards Club with Mr. Josephson. Then in Caldwell from 10 to 11 is the Origami Club with Mrs. Vincent. And in Boise is the Lego Club at 10 o'clock with Mrs. Carroll. And going on. Which one are you saying yay about, Jason? Which one are you going to? Jasmine, you should come to the Disney Film Study. You should. It does sound fun. I can hear it right through the wall here when they have it on. It's fun to hear the music and stuff. Origami, awesome. That is so cool. There's a Lego Club in Boise. That's right. At 11 o'clock is the Lego Club with Mrs. Murphy. 12:30 to 1:30 is the K through 2nd grade Forensics Mystery Club with Mrs. Wolf. 2 to 3 is the Yarn Club with Mrs. Dykas, and 3 to 4 is the Lifetime Sports Club with Mrs. Willis, and in Caldwell is the 10 to 11 Chess Club with Mr. Bulmer tomorrow. And don't forget, there are headphones in the Nampa office, $8. The state of Idaho requires 4 to 6 hours of schoolwork every day, 4 to 6 hours a day, and that's all we ask. The rest of 18 to 20 minutes is all yours. And read aloud with your family or to pets 20 minutes every day. And does walking make you smarter? Yes, here's your brain after sitting quietly for 20 minutes. Here's your brain after a 20-minute walk. And going on here. All right, we are talking about anti-procrastination techniques. And this guy is named Charles Schwab. He is, you might have heard that name Schwab. He is today, that's known for being a way to make money. The Charles Schwab helps you make money. I think that's his grandson that's doing that. But do you see this? That is his, that was the first Charles Schwab's factory. Look at that. It's huge. It's a steel factory in Pennsylvania, and it's huge. But he was, he wanted himself and his employees to be more productive. So he talked to a man whose last name was Lee. Mr. Lee told Charles that he wanted to study the business for a few weeks before giving him any advice for helping to make everybody more productive. So he looked at all the accounting books, he checked out the machines, he spent like a whole month there, 3 months there, and talked to everybody, all the executives, the people on the lines. He talked to everybody, and he came back and he said, I know what you can do to make yourself more productive and your factory more productive. But he said, I want you to try it for 3 months. And then if you think it works, I want you to give me a check for whatever you think it's worth. And so actually, instead of studying everybody for 3 months, he only spent 10 minutes with each executive after this to train them. 10 minutes, that's all it took. So we're going to tell you what he said. And he said, I want you to promise me for the rest of 90 days to, before leaving your office at the end of each day, you'll make a list of the 6 most important things you have to do the next day and number them in order of importance. And then the executives, they were shocked that that's all they were asked to do. That's it. That's it, Lee. Scratch off each item after you finish it and then go on to the next one. And if it doesn't get done, put it on the following day's list. So each guy in the factory, each executive agreed to follow his instructions for 3 months. And later he went back. Charles Schwab went back to see the results, and he was so pleased. He sent Lee a check for $2 million, or the equivalent of what would be $2 million in today's. Can you imagine that? Talks to people for 10 minutes and gets $2 million for it. And he did that because he got that money because it was such good advice. So let me show you what he told those executives to do. And you could do the same thing, but I'm going to show you how to do it actually on your Gmail, with your Gmail. Okay, so if you have little Post-it notes, though, this is what you do. Step 1. At the end of each work day or school day, write down the 6 most important things you need to do tomorrow. So if you still have to finish an essay, if you still have to study for your test at the end of the week, write it down. Just write down 6 things that you can remember. Don't write down 7 things, only 6, because 7 are too many, okay? 6 things. And then put them in order of what is most important to do. So this guy put down travel reservations was the most important for him or her to do. And then this guy put each of those 6 things on their own Post-it note saying, all right, for travel reservations, I need to make sure that I've got the flights, the limo, the hotel, there's 10 people. And then when he was going to order the uniforms, he had to have that information there. He also had to know that he had to hire a photographer and review the product samples and pay the steps. Each time he finished something, he just checked it off of how you can do your own list on Google in your Gmail every day.
I'm going to share my top 5 tips with you. So the first tip I have for you for getting organized with tasks is to open the tasks from your email. You should be getting into the habit of checking your email every day. When you're in there, click on that little red arrow, click on tasks, and all of the tasks that you have on your calendar will appear in the bottom right. Here's an email from a teacher. Extra help has changed this week, and only this week. I'd better put that in my calendar. How do you do that? Come over to More and click Add to Tasks, and it will be added. Let's go over and check out the tasks in our calendar. So you remember the calendars. Here all of the calendars are active because we see their colors. Here's the student's calendar, and here is the task calendar. You see that over on the right. If you don't want to see your task calendar, simply deselect the color. When the calendar is selected, you see that the events that you've listed here on the calendar that have a date also show up on your calendar. Let's see how we do that. Let's add an event. Simply click anywhere on the list, or you can add the plus button. So I've added an event. Click on the arrow, add a due date, back to the list, and it will appear in my calendar for that day. Here we go. Tip number 3, go over to the Chrome Web Store and get the Google Tasks extension. Here you see I already have it added to Chrome. Let's see what it looks like in action. So once Google Tasks has been applied to your Chrome browser, it will appear in this little icon on the far right. What this means is wherever you are on the web and whatever you're doing in your browser, with a simple click, you can activate your tasks and see what you have coming up for that day. This is great because it means that you don't have to actually go to your calendar page or your email page to see what it is that you've got coming up. To recap the top 5 tips, number 1, open your tasks from your email. When you check your email, check your tasks. Number 2, remember to add a date to your tasks so they will appear in your calendar. Number 3, check it every day. Number 4, use that Chrome extension so that you can access your tasks from wherever you are on the web. And number 5 is going to be sync it to your smartphone, but that's in the next video, so stay tuned.
So we will see you again Thursday. Check your email because I'll have a different link for you.